Good evening, dear listeners. You're tuning in to Black's Movie Recaps. I'm your host, Old Nicholas Black, and today we embark on a cinematic journey back to 1962. Today we'll be discussing a movie that's bound to send shivers down your spine, Carnival of Souls. A tale of survival, mystery, and the supernatural. Our story begins with Mary Henry's miraculous escape from a car accident. But as we soon discover, escaping death might just be the beginning of her troubles. Imagine surviving such a traumatic event only to find that your grip on reality is starting to slip. That the boundary between the living and the dead is not as solid as you once believed. Our protagonist, Mary, finds herself in Utah, where she begins her new job as a church organist. But the past refuses to stay buried. Her life takes an eerie turn as she's plagued by visions and an ever-present feeling of being watched. One of the film's most compelling features is its atmosphere. The filmmakers masterfully weave a sense of unease, always making us feel like something is just slightly off.
This used to be quite a place. It's been deserted for a long time now.
Will you take me in?
My goodness, no. It isn't safe out there anymore. That's why they put up this barrier.
It'd be very easy to step around it.
What attraction could there be for you out there?
I'm not sure. I'm a reasonable person, I don't know. Maybe I want to satisfy myself that the place is nothing more than it appears to be. Would you take me out there?
No. The law has placed it off limits. Wouldn't be very seemly for a minister to break the law, would it?
No. Maybe I can come back some other time.
The deserted carnival becomes a central figure in the narrative, representing both Mary's fears and her growing obsession, as if the carnival, much like Mary's trauma, refuses to be forgotten. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not just the phantoms that haunt us. Sometimes it's our past, our choices, and the memories we can't shake. Carnival of Souls delves deep into this theme, blurring the lines between reality and the supernatural, making us question which is more terrifying. As the story unfolds, the carnival starts to play a more pivotal role, almost as if it was a character on its own. The rusted rides, the desolate grounds, all seem to beckon Mary, urging her to confront her past and her fears. the mysterious man, a constant ghostly figure that haunts Mary's steps, always watching, always lurking. He's a manifestation of her trauma, her guilt, and perhaps even her destiny. The organ, traditionally an instrument of faith and reverence, becomes a tool of suspense in this narrative. It underscores Mary's internal turmoil, the chilling melodies echoing her descent into the unknown. One cannot discuss Carnival of Souls without addressing its profound psychological undertones. It's not just a tale of ghosts and ghouls, it's an exploration of the human psyche, trauma, and the lengths one might go to escape their past. The climax, a macabre dance of lost souls, serves as a culmination of Mary's journey. It's a scene both haunting and poetic, a reflection of life and death intertwined. As the curtains close on this film, we're left with more questions than answers. What is reality? What are the limits of human perception? And can we ever truly escape our pasts?
The car's still over there. And then a footprints leading up to here. And then nothing.
Ladies and gentlemen, Carnival of Souls stands as a testament to the power of storytelling, urging viewers to look beyond the surface and delve deep into the human psyche. Thank you for joining me on this cinematic journey. I urge you to watch or rewatch this masterpiece and draw your own conclusions. Until our next adventure into the world of film, this is old Nicholas Black, signing off. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and ghouls. Welcome back to Black's Movie Recaps. I'm your host, old Nicholas Black, and tonight we delve into a tale so chilling, it's perfect for a night of dread and popcorn. Oh yes, my friends, we're spiraling into the sinister world of House on Haunted Hill. Imagine, if you dare, an invitation. But not just any invitation, a dare from Vincent Price himself. The Grand Master of Horror challenges you to a night in a mansion. A mansion teeming with horrors unspeakable, with a tantalizing offer to any soul brave or foolish enough to endure till the dawn.
In just a minute, I'll show you the only really haunted house in the world. Since it was built a century ago, 7 people, including my brother, have been murdered in it. Since then, I've owned the house. I've only spent one night there, and when they found me in the morning, I was almost dead.
The stage is set with a mansion, an abode teeming with unspeakable terrors and secrets hidden behind its crumbling walls. But what makes this house so haunted, you ask? First, let's delve into the twisted souls who dare to spend the night there.
This is Lance Schroeder, a test pilot, so no doubt a brave man. But don't you think you can be much braver if you're paid for it? And I happen to know that Lance needs the $10,000 I'll give him, if he's brave enough to stay all night. This is Ruth Bridges. You've no doubt read her column in the newspapers. She says her reason for coming to the party is to write a feature article on ghosts. She's also desperate for money, gambles. You've already met Watson Pritchard, a man living in mortal fear of a house, and yet he is risking his life to spend another night here. I wonder why. He says for money. This is Dr. David Trent, a psychiatrist. He claims that my ghost will help his work on hysteria. But don't you see a little touch of greed there, around the mouth and eyes? This is Nora Manning. I picked her from the thousands of people who work for me because she needed the $10,000 more than most. Supports her whole family. Isn't she pretty?
5 souls, each with their own veil of mystery, heed this macabre invitation. But this is no ordinary gathering. The mansion itself is a labyrinth of death, where spirits roam free and treacherous traps await the unwary. 5 guests, each intriguing in their own right, venture into this maze of malevolence. Oh, but don't forget Frederick Lauren and his wife, Annabelle, who set this nightmarish snare.
I'm Frederick Lauren, and I've rented the house on Haunted Hill tonight so that my wife can give a party. A haunted house party. She's so amusing. There'll be food and drink and ghosts, and perhaps even a few murders. You're all invited. If any of you will spend the next 12 hours in this house, I'll give you each $10,000, or your next of kin in case you don't survive.
The couple offers these guests $10,000 each if they survive the night. Is their intent benevolent, or something far more sinister? Now allow me to pull back the rotting curtain and unveil the horrors that this cursed mansion bestows upon our guests. Oh yes, the house itself is an actor, a malevolent entity in this theater of dread.
Well, if I
were going to haunt anybody, this would certainly be the house I'd do it in.
Secret doors swing open without a touch, and hidden rooms beckon from the darkness, drawing Lance and Nora into a web of fear.
Who closed the door?
This thing's made of solid steel.
And then there's the basement, a place where time stands still around a vat of acid, hungry for flesh and bone.
But yes, wasn't there a man who threw his wife into a wine vat or something?
That was in the cellar. There's been a murder almost every place in this house. All this belonged to a Mr. Norton, who didn't die here. He was electrocuted later. Mr. Norton did a good deal of experimenting with wines, but his wife didn't think it was any good. So he filled the vat with acid and threw her in. She was supposed to stay down, but the bones came up. It's a funny thing, but none of the murders here were just ordinary. Just shooting or stabbing. They've all been sort of wild, violent, different. Look out! God, she didn't fall in.
You mean there's still acid in there?
Destroys everything with hair and flesh. It just leaves the bones.
Nora, the timid guest, finds herself haunted by a ghostly apparition. And later on, a rope that seems to take on a life of its own, terrifying her to her very core.
Anywhere? Lance! Lance!
Dr. David Trent finds himself questioning his own expertise on hysteria, as the house seems to laugh at his futile attempts to rationalize the supernatural occurrences.
Well, Doctor, it looks like we have a real case of hysteria on our hands.
I think she's just a little upset, not hysterical.
And let us not forget Watson Pritchett, who grows increasingly unhinged as his drunken warnings of the house's malevolence come gruesomely to life.
Nora? Nora? Nora?
do you know about this?
They've taken her. In a little while, she'll be one of them.
Where's Norton?
Where is she? It's too late. It's too late. You'll never find her again.
Pritchard, if you know where she is, you better tell me now.
She's gone. She's gone with him. There's nothing you can do about it.
Each guest is toyed with, taunted as if the house itself digs deep into their psyche, pulling out their deepest fears and parading them like grim trophies. Alliances form and crumble as quickly as the house's decaying walls. Betrayal, secrets, and unsettling discoveries lurk behind every corner. The guests are not merely pawns in a twisted game, they are intricate pieces of a malevolent puzzle that only Dawn's light can solve. When the rooster crows, who remains? And what remains of them? Survivors, victims, or perhaps something in between? House on Haunted Hill is more than a ghost story. It's a psychological thriller, a puppet show orchestrated by a masterful puppeteer. But who pulls the strings?
At last you've got it all. Everything I have. Even my life. But you're not going to live to enjoy it. Come with me, murderess. Come with me.
Ah, that is the question that haunts us long after the credits roll. If you have yet to enter the House on Haunted Hill, let tonight be the night. Click on the link in the comments below. Then lock your doors, check your windows, and steel your nerves, for you're in for a cinematic experience that chills to the bone. Just remember, leave the lights on. Or perhaps, if you dare, off. That's all for tonight's episode of Black's Movie Recaps. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, may your nights be dark and your dreams darker still. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gather round your radios. This is your host, coming to you live on the airways. And tonight, we have a spine-tingling tale to tell. Put the kiddos to bed because we're diving into the monstrous mayhem of Night of the Living Dead. Now prepare yourselves as we journey into a world gone mad. A world where the departed have decided they're not quite ready for eternal slumber. That's right, the dead are up and they're positively famished. Our tale starts innocuously enough with Barbara and Johnny, siblings, paying respects at the family plot.
They ought to make the day the time changes, the first day of summer.
What?
Well, it's 8 o'clock and it's still light.
A lot of good the extra daylight does us. Now, we've still got a 3-hour drive back. We're not going to be home until after midnight.
Well, if it really bugged you, Johnny, you wouldn't do it.
You think I want to blow Sunday on a scene like this? You know, I figure we're either going to have to move Mother out here or move the grave into Pittsburgh.
She can't make a trip like this.
Oh, you know that she can't. Is there any of that candy left?
No.
Look at this thing. We still remember. I don't. You know, I don't even remember what the man looks like.
Johnny, it takes you 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes to put the wreath on the grave and 6 hours to drive back and forth. Mother wants to remember, so we trot 200 miles into the country and she stays at home.
Well, we're here, John, all right?
Test. Back on? Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, we're coming back on the air after an interruption due to technical problems.
Little do they know their quiet cemetery jaunt is about to be rudely interrupted by, you guessed it, a ghoul with an insatiable appetite.
It's one of them now.
He'll hear you.
Here he comes now. I'm getting out of here.
Johnny.
Johnny's down for the count, and Barbara flees as if the devil himself were on her heels. Panting and panicked, Barbara finds refuge in a ramshackle farmhouse. Enter Ben. A man of action and fortitude. Ah, but our haven is not to remain so cozy.
Murder. Repeating this latest bulletin just received moments ago from Cumberland, Maryland. Civil defense authorities have told newsmen that murder victims show evidence of having been partially devoured by their murderers. Medical examination of victims' bodies shows conclusively that the killers are eating the flesh of the people they kill. And so this incredible story becomes more ghastly with each report. It's difficult to imagine such a thing actually happening, but these are the reports we have been receiving and passing on to you. Reports which have been verified as completely as is possible in this confused situation. It is happening, and it would appear that no one is safe from this wave of mass murder.
It becomes the stage for more characters. Tom and Judy, a young couple.
Wait a minute! Judy, come on up here, honey. We're gonna let them get hurt too, huh?
And the squabbling Coopers.
Everywhere. The radio said to stay inside.
Radio?
Radio upstairs. I heard a news bulletin.
There's a radio upstairs and you boarded us in down here?
I know what I'm doing.
What did it say?
Nothing. They don't know anything yet. There's mass murder everywhere, and people are supposed to look for a safe place to hide.
Take the boards off that door.
We are staying down here, Helen.
Harry, that radio is at least some kind of communication. If the authorities know what's happening, well, they'll send people for us to tell us what to do. How are we going to know what's going on if we lock ourselves in this dungeon?
A family that puts the dysfunction in dysfunctional. When mortal peril looms, how do humans respond? With level-headed cooperation?
So we have that truck. If we can get some gas, we can get out of here.
There's a pump out by the shed.
I know, that's why I pulled in here, but it's locked.
Heavens no. The house's inhabitants argue like a pack of alley cats over a sardine. To stay or to go. To barricade or to flee.
Responsible for the wholesale murders we're now suffering. Newsman Don Quinn in Washington has posed those questions.
It's obvious our best move is to try to get out of here.
How are you going to get over to that pump?
Time's a-wasting, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, brace yourselves, for the conclusion is a harrowing ordeal. Tom and Judy meet an incendiary fate.
Let's get out of here. Come on, come on.
My jacket's gone.
Young Karen turns on her own kin.
Karen? Oh, baby. Baby.
And Ben, our stalwart hero, survives the night. Only to meet an untimely end at the hands of misguided saviors.
You, drag that out of here and throw it on the fire. Nothing down here. All right, go ahead down and give him a hand. Let's go check out the house.
There's something there. I heard a noise.
All right, Vince, hit him in the head, right between the eyes.
Now, don't go thinking Night of the Living Dead is mere pulp fiction. No siree. This flick digs deep, challenging us to ponder the fragility of society, the essence of humanity, and why, in the face of ungodly horrors, we can't all just get along. If this recap tickled your fancy, kindly tap that like button. If you want to see the full movie, click on the link below. And if you're new to our little soiree, why not subscribe? Till the next time, this is your host signing off. Keep your wits about you, and may your nights be living, not dead. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gather around your YouTube screens because you've tuned into Black's Movie Recaps. I'm your host, Old Nicholas Black, and tonight, I'm gonna need you to hold on to your fedoras and cloche hats because we're pulling out all the stops with a 1936 spectacle, called Reefer Madness. A classic in the annals of unintentional comedy. Reefer Madness, the film that warned America about the terrifying, soul-corrupting dangers of marijuana, or marijuana, as the filmmakers quaintly misspelled it, because accuracy is clearly secondary to melodrama. For this classic bit of fun, we begin in an auditorium, where the beacon of reason and calm, a high school principal, alerts the populace to the perils of this devilish weed. Because nothing screams, "I am an expert," like a stodgy educator warning against existential threats.
You and all other school parent groups about the country, and you must stand united on this and stamp out this frightful assassin of our youth. You can do it by bringing about compulsory education on the subject of narcotics in general, but dread marijuana in particular. That is the purpose of this meeting, ladies and gentlemen, to lay the foundation for a nationwide campaign by you to demand by law such compulsory education. Because it is only through enlightenment that this scourge can be wiped out.
Just look at him go, throwing caution to the wind, as if he's announcing the second coming of the locusts. Then, oh dear listeners, we meet our protagonists, Jimmy and Mary. Cleaner than a brand new pair of spats, but alas, their innocence is short-lived. Unlike their dancing, which will return to haunt my nightmare.
Hey, he ain't no paper man.
Why, don't you know him? That hot finger curly.
Boy, he really swings out hot with a like a jive. You want to dance?
George!
Sweet Lord, Mary, relax those shoulders. Along comes Jack, the malevolent maestro of marijuana, luring these two lambs straight into the wolf's den.
Why can't we go now?
Good. Hey, kids, we're having a little party up at my girlfriend's apartment. Wouldn't you like to come? Oh, I'd love to. You want to come, don't you, Jimmy?
Oh, sure. Any place with you.
Well, come along. We can all go in my car.
But beware, the marijuana doesn't just turn these kids into petty criminals, it makes them jittery jazz aficionados too. Yes, folks, marijuana apparently can turn anyone into a manic Jerry Lee Lewis. Look at those fingers fly across the piano keys. It's as if Beethoven himself came back from the grave, ate a jazz record, and decided to go absolutely bonkers. And of course, the pièce de résistance, a courtroom drama filled with more ham than a deli counter. Ah, the age-old battle between justice and, well, overacting. Who needs evidence when you've got sensationalism?
Your Honor, I'd like to recall Dr. Alfred Carroll to the stand. Call Dr. Alfred Carroll to the stand. Dr. Carroll, as principal of the Lakeside High School, did you, during the last 3 months, notice any changes in the demeanor and attitude of your student, William Hopper? Yes, in a number of things. For example, at times disassociation of ideas. You, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, have a duty to perform. A duty to yourselves and to our community. Mary Lane is dead. The evidence you've heard at this trial could not have failed to convince you of the guilt of the defendant. By his own admission, he pressed the trigger of the weapon that sent lovely and innocent Mary Lane to a tragic and untimely death. We are not so much concerned about the motives behind the deed as to the deed itself. While the defendant has told you that he saw someone attacking Mary Lane, and that his mind went blank from that moment on, the defense has been unable to produce one witness to substantiate that statement. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you've heard able men testify at this trial, men who have tried to bring out the fact that the defendant might have become momentarily insane when he fired the shot that killed Mary Lane. But the defense has been unable to prove that he was insane. William Harper was sane when he visited the apartment where the tragedy occurred. He was in the habit of visiting the place. He was sane when he went into a bedroom with another young woman. You've all heard what went on in that room. You heard it from the defendant's own lips. Involved as he was in a tawdry love affair, Mary Lane was in the way. She had found him out. In a moment of anger, he deliberately and willfully killed her. If such deeds are permitted to go unpunished, this community would cease to be a decent and safe place for us or our children to live. I do not believe I have to plead or even demand that you bring in a verdict to punish the defendant for the crime that he has committed against society. You are upright citizens. That is why you were chosen to judge another. And as honest, upright citizens, there is only one verdict which you can find, and that is a verdict of guilt.
So, what's the moral of this celluloid sermon? Don't smoke the reefer unless you're looking for a career in avant-garde jazz, to play a murderer in Law and Order, or go into a career in melodramatic jurisprudence. Well, folks, that about wraps it up. If you've enjoyed this romp through cinematic absurdity as much as I have, go ahead and hit that like button, like it's going out of style. And don't forget, comment below. What film should I tip my hat to or skewer next? Until we meet again, this is your host, Nicholas Black, saying, stay classy, stay sassy, and whatever you do, steer clear of those jazz cigarettes. Toodaloo. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the darkest depths of cinematic history, right here on Black's Movie Recaps. Today we're diving into the chilling abyss of the 1960s with Little Shop of Horrors. Prepare yourselves for a journey that's as spooky as it is laughable. Let's descend into madness, shall we? Behold, the ominous poster that beckons you into this macabre world. A plant with an insatiable appetite. What could possibly go wrong? Meet Seymour Krelborn, our bumbling hero, toiling away at a decrepit flower shop on Skid Row, where the future looks as bleak as the lighting.
Seymour Krelborn? Now, Mrs. Shiver, we were talking from the funeral flowers. What the little... What funeral?
Did you call me Mr. Mushnick?
No. I was calling John D. Rockefeller for to make a loan on my Rolls Royce.
Sorry I said it.
Now look, Seymour. You take 2 gladiolas. You'll cut them nice and even. You'll take 1 coin. You'll wrap them in a package, and you'll take them to Dr. Farr. Right?
And then there's Audrey, Seymour's love interest, trapped in a web of poor choices, including a dentist with a sadistic streak. Oh, the drama.
You mean I'm fired?
No, I'm electing you president from the United States. Yes, you are fired.
Gravis, you can't do that.
Who can't?
The chemistry between Audrey and Seymour, it's positively electric, like 2 souls trapped in a horror comedy nightmare.
Hey, put this on my bill.
Well, here it is, everybody. What do you think of it?
Well, it sure is different.
It looks delicious, but don't you think it's kind of stale?
Well, it hasn't been feeling too well.
You call that a fancy plant? It looks like it never spent an LT day in its entire life.
I don't care. I like it anyway.
You like even skunk cabbage.
Yeah. What kind of a plant is this, Seymour?
Well, I'm not sure. I got the seeds from a Japanese gardener over on Central Avenue. He found them in with an order he got from a plantation next to a cranberry farm.
Fine, fine. You don't even know what is this plant you're growing.
Well, I gave it a name.
What name?
Oh, gee.
What? You gave it a dirty name? You can't even mention it?
Well, I named it Audrey Jr.
You named it after me. Oh, really? Well, that's the most exciting thing anyone's ever done to me.
You poor kid. I don't think it's...
Don't feel sad, Seymour.
Don't waste your pity on me, Audrey. I'm not worth it.
Who says you're not?
Everybody.
Yeah, I know. But I think you're a fine figurative of a man, and I know that Audrey Jr. will be the sweetest thing in the whole wide world.
Well, I don't know. I've given it every kind of fancy fertilizer and atomic plant food and distilled mineral water you can buy, but it just gets sicker and sicker.
Don't worry. You're going to be another Luther Glendale.
Pasadena.
Burbank. Good night, Seymour.
Now let's turn our attention to the real star, Audrey Jr., a mysterious and carnivorous plant with a taste for the extraordinary. Seymour feeds it, shall we say, unconventional snacks.
Oh, gee. You opened up just like you do every night at sunset. I wish I knew how to make you grow. Here, let me move this out of your way so you can breathe. Ow! Ow, 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 ow! Hey, what happened? How come you woke up? Blood? You like blood? Oh, you must be kidding. Well, we'll see. You don't know what I'm doing for you. Ow! Oh, who would have thought it? Well, I guess there's just no accounting for people's
Seymour's feeding habits are a bit out of the ordinary. Hoodoo plant food came with a side of moral quandaries.
Look, Chowhound, don't bother me. I got problems of my own.
Feed me!
I'm sorry, pal. I'm fresh out of blood. Talk to somebody else.
I'm hungry!
I don't care what you are. Can't you see I'm knocked out? I just killed a man. I'm a murderer. You think it's fun to be a murderer? You think it's fun to haul around a sack full of
food?
Oh, no, Junior. What kind of guy do you think I am?
I'm starved.
Audrey Jr.'s growth spurt rivals any horror movie monsters. It's like watching the evolution of pure botanical evil.
Hi, Travis. $85 with the business already, and we barely opened.
What I tell you?
Audrey Jr.'s hunger and power are spiraling out of control. It's like the Garden of Doom with Seymour stuck in a tangled web of thorns.
Feed me!
Oh, take it easy, Dracula. What do you think I'm carrying here, my dirty laundry? I'm coming already. This should be enough for anybody. Well, goodbye, Dr. Farr. You may have been a crummy dentist, but you were a nice fella. I never meant to kill anybody in my whole life. I've killed 2 in the last 2 days. Well, but you asked for it coming after me with that knife and all. Fun voyage, Dr. Farr. You want anything else?
Meanwhile, Audrey's life becomes even more complicated. Will she ever escape her terrible choices and the menace that lurks in the shadows?
I'd like to go to the South Seas, too.
There's no reason why you couldn't go.
Would you take me with you, Seymour?
Oh, I couldn't very well go without you, Audrey.
Why not?
Well, because I'm in love with you, Audrey.
Oh, I'm in love with you, too, Seymour.
Feed me!
What'd you say?
I was just kidding.
I'm hungry.
Seymour,
I didn't mean it.
why did you say it?
Oh, food.
You didn't even say that.
Oh, yes, I did. I said it.
Oh, I'm looking right at you.
Well, I'm a ventriloquist.
You're what?
A ventriloquist.
Feed me.
Seymour, do you feel all right?
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, then stop all this nonsense and kiss me.
I'm dying from hunger.
All right, if you're so hungry, eat something, but forget about me.
Gee, I'm sorry, Audrey.
Give me to eat.
If you can't control yourself, I'm going home.
I need some chow.
Oh.
An empty stomach.
Audrey, please wait. Listen to me.
I've listened to all the nonsense I want to hear, Seymour. You're a nut. You tell me that you love me, and then you act like a complete idiot.
Please listen, Audrey. I'll be able to explain everything soon.
Well, why can't you explain now?
Because so many things are so important. I want to marry you, but I got to take care of Mom. Well, that plant in there is going to make it all come true. Tomorrow they're going to give me a trophy, and I'll be famous. I'll be a big botanist. And then we can go to the South Seas, just like we planned and all.
But that doesn't have anything to do with what went on in there. When you're ready to come to your senses, Seymour, then I'll talk to you.
The climax of Little Shop of Horrors delivers shocks and surprises galore. Will Seymour and Audrey finally break free from the grip of this botanical nightmare? And now, the grand finale. Get ready for an ending that will leave you wondering, what on earth did I just witness?
Welcome, lady and gentlemen. We are honored for to have you.
Still working on those disappearances.
We think they were murdered.
Hey, look here, young man. That's no way to talk at a time like this. Let me see your tongue. Uh-huh. Now, what you got?
Just the facts, ma'am.
Trench mouth. I know, I had it back in '09.
Better have that looked into, Frank.
Whatever you say, Joe.
Mr. Krelboy, the sun is going down now, and, you do think those buds are going to open?
I hope so.
Because if they don't, Mr. Krelboy, we shall just have to present the award at another time.
Oh, it's starting to open. Isn't that smart?
Oh, look, the first bud is open.
Isn't that
the railroad cop? Look at the rest. What do you think, Frank?
They're all there, Joe.
Yes, you're right. Mr. Krelboy, how do you explain this?
I didn't mean it.
That's right, officer. He didn't mean to kill them.
Seymour, you promised you'd explain.
Looks like they're getting away, Joe.
Yes, you're right. Let's catch him.
Right.
Oh, now the float will be perfect. Yeah.
You wouldn't find him here with the toilets. Let's go back.
You dirty rat plant, you messed up my whole life.
Feed me!
I'll feed you. I'll feed you like you never been fed before.
Better to give up, gentlemen. You wouldn't find him tonight.
Look, the door's open, Frank.
Oh.
He was such a good boy. Seymour!
I didn't mean it.
So there you have it, my brave souls. Little Shop of Horrors. It's a campy, creepy, and downright bizarre trip through a skid row that you won't soon forget. Thank you for joining us on Black's Movie Recaps. Until next time, remember to water your plants, but maybe not too much.